Alrighty, welcome back. Day 3 of the Confrontations program. I'm probably in a completely different setup right now. And today we're going to be talking about the mindset. Now, I know you probably came into this course hoping for these real practical measures to have a confrontation. But the irony is, a confrontation is merely speaking your mind. You already know how to do that. The problem is, you see sometimes doing it as being this completely different scenario. And that's the one you call a confrontation. But a confrontation is just saying what you're thinking and feeling. We are going to cover the how-to make it as easy as possible. But today, when we talk about the mindset, we're talking about the most important part. Because it's how you view this conversation that makes it difficult or easy, depending on how you view it. So I'm going to give you, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 key mindset principles that I bring in to a confrontation that allow it to go so easily for me now, whereas before it used to be a terrifying experience. Okay. Number 1 is curiosity about them. Represented by the idea that they have a good reason for why they do what they do. Okay. So whenever somebody does a behaviour that harms me, or I feel harmed by it, I should say, they probably thought they had a good reason for doing it. Now, their good reason might not match what I think is a good reason, but it is a good reason to them. You'll know it yourself. You've done terrible things that you regret, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. Well, it's the same for them. And when you understand that, you'll realise this person's not my enemy. They're just someone trying to live their life, and we happen to clash. Very few people are trying to harm you. There are some, but most people, the harm is secondary. They were trying to do something else. And if you can get in touch with what that something else is, if you can show that you understand them and want to understand them, they're much less likely to resist and get defensive. Their version of a good idea, a good reason for doing it might not match yours, but it's still good for them. That's the number 1 principle. Number 2 is respect. I can't control them. Okay, I really got to come into this letting go of control. But I can give them a chance to treat me with respect. So my confrontation is not about making them respect me. It's about giving them a chance to, about showing them what respecting me would look like if they happen to want to do it. Okay, I'm giving them the option because they might not have realized what that looked like before, and I'm going to make sure they do before I decide where I'm going to go with this person in the future. So you don't confront someone to change them. You do it to respect yourself and to offer them the chance to be respectful. Never forget, if they don't change, you can leave them forever. Okay? You're not forced to have this person in your life. I don't care if they're your closest family member. Nobody's forcing you to tolerate them or even acknowledge their existence. So this is just an opportunity for them to change the way they interact with you. They don't have to take that opportunity. You don't need them. This isn't an ultimatum. You're not saying either do this or I'll leave you. You're saying those are your 2 options. You can do this or I'll do that. You get to decide. This isn't like I'm not trying to force you to choose one or the other. Just let me know which one you want. Respect me or us not being in connection with each other. You choose. The next principle is acceptance. Understanding that if you get emotional and agitated during a confrontation, it's because you're attached to an outcome. If you're really nothing to lose, if you're really just doing this just to be honest, you won't get agitated. Because as soon as you're honest, the job's done. It's when you want something more than that agitation comes in. So understand, as soon as you get emotional, if you get nervous or angry or aggressive or defensive or frustrated or confused, it's because you want something more than just being honest. And if you can identify what that is and let go of it, confrontations become really easy. And usually that thing you're trying to control is them. So if you can let go of controlling them, there's nothing to get emotional about. Okay. Before beginning the confrontation, remind yourself this is not about winning. Okay. This is just about expressing yourself so that you can respect yourself, so that you can show courage, so that you can be honest. You're doing it for yourself, your own values, not to control them. As soon as you try to control them, you're going to get agitated, which makes you actually less likely to influence them. So it's in your best interests all across the board to not try and control them and instead just focus on living by your values. You've got to have compassion for yourself, and the next principle is that idea you can leave at any time. Confrontation is just about expressing yourself. You don't have to manage their reaction. If you don't like their reaction, you can bail. You can leave. You can come back to it later. You can refuse to engage further. That's all under your capability. You're not forcing yourself to do more than just speak the truth. A lot of people feel a lot of pressure during confrontations because they think they have to stay in and manage the other person's emotional reaction. You don't. It's not yours to manage, it's theirs. Leave it the fuck alone. Okay? You don't actually have to participate beyond being truthful. Now, you have to say the first bit to have a confrontation. You have to say the thing that bothers you or whatever. But after that, you're done. You can only stay in it if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't. Okay? If their reaction's too much, bail. If they're quick-witted and complicated and really good at arguing, take your time. This isn't a race. There is no winner or loser here. If you don't know how to respond, say, I don't know how to respond to that, but I've said my piece. You know, this isn't an argument. This isn't a fucking debate. You're not trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong. You're just saying, this is my truth. I thought I'd give that to you. Do with that as you will. You want to fight back against it? I'm not interested. You do with that as you see fit. The next principle is responsibility. The truth does not hurt somebody. Okay, because truth is just reality. Reality doesn't hurt. Reality just is. If someone's hurt by you being truthful, either you weren't really being truthful, you're being judgmental or something else, and that's something you can work on. But more likely it's because they just don't accept reality. Okay? If your honesty hurts their feelings, it's because their mind is not yet prepared to deal with the reality of the world. With confrontation, with feedback, with judgment, with all these things that happen every day all around them. That's their problem, not yours. Okay? If they're hurt by you delivering the truth, it's not your job to fix that. Okay? It's their job. They need to work on it. You can help them through it. You can say, oh, that truth seemed to really hurt you. How can I help you with that? Or words to that effect. But you don't have to prevent the truth from hurting them. You're only making them fragile if you do that. Let them have it. Let them deal with it. They'll be a stronger person at the end. You know, give them the best chance to hear it. Avoid name-calling and spite and judgments and accusations. Just speak about the facts and how you felt about those facts. We'll talk about that tomorrow and how to do it. And then let them sit with it. If they don't like it, they can leave you. Let them leave. And the last and final principle that really helped me is one that I just had to accept. This won't be comfortable and it's not guaranteed to end well. But that's not the point. You being honest doesn't have to be comfortable and it doesn't have to end well in order to be a success. Honesty itself is the success. So don't go into this hoping that everyone's going to be happy at the end of it or even during it. Okay? Go into it expecting it to be messy and uncomfortable and you don't do it quite right and they react different to how you expected and you get lost for words. Expect all of that to happen. And just do it anyway because you're just trying to be honest. The application of these principles will transform confrontation for you. From being something where you're trying to control somebody else's behavior through to just trying to control your own. Just being honest. Once you get that under control, ironically, you'll have much more influence on other people. You follow these principles and people will be more likely to work with you. So it's actually in your best interest in terms of outcomes to let go of the outcomes. I hope that helps. Tomorrow we're going to have a look at the beard model, which is a very practical step-by-step process for confronting somebody. What you say and how you say it. We're going to cover that tomorrow. I'll see you then.